Hello there and welcome to World of Tanks with Ungainly Titan. So, previously Wargaming have given us the opportunity to earn premium tanks, like the Motherland that was just shown there in the garage, and the AMX EDC which you're looking at now. By basically playing the game, they supplied ops that were in addition to the selected ops. And these operations earned you had to earn experience, somewhere in the order of 200,000 to 300,000 experience. And then you acquired the Motherland. The Motherland was exclusively had to be earned in Russian tanks, but in the case of the CDC, they allowed you to earn the experience using tanks of any nation. And this was a useful, if a bit laborious way of actually earning a premium tank, and they're quite decent tanks. So, they then decided to bring out a German tank, and it's basically a variant of the Tiger 1, called the Hammer. But in the case of the Hammer, they changed the format. It's no longer a question of merely playing enough games, getting enough XP. In the required time, you actually have to win matches. The format is that you had to gain 5 points for the first two operations, 10 points for the second one, and 15 points for the final one. So this is the Hammer. There's a bunch of them here in the foreground of this picture. To win these points, as I said previously, you had to win matches. So you got +1 for a win, +1 for being in the top 5 by XP, and -1 for a loss or a draw. And the operations you had to do were to gain 5 points in the first one, 5 points in the second, 10 points in the third, 10 points in the fourth, and 15 for the final operation. You had roughly 3 days to do each of these. And initially it was fine. I got operations 1, 2, 3 and 4 without any trouble. Anything between 5 and 12 matches, just doing the normal stuff that I've been doing with the British tanks. Then it all started to go horribly wrong. I couldn't win a match to save my life. Ran into constant stream of successive defeats, losses, frustration mounted. I started making silly mistakes. Got as far as +6 several times and got all the way back down to 0. Which is why I said it's just as well you couldn't go negative. I think if I had gone negative, I would be somewhere around -30. I would never have gotten the tank. As the day wore on, I tried my good tanks, the Excelsiors, the Comet, the Matilda, that I had high win rates on, and still no avail. Combination of bad internet connections, poor play on my part as I got increasingly frustrated, and just downright bad luck. Some unbelievable tactical failures on parts of the teams. Lemming trains were everywhere, and don't really have the capacity to carry games with a complete lemon train. I need a little bit of help from my team. Finished up with a complete disconnection from the internet, and finding that my FE4202 that I was trying, backed up against the railway Prokhorovka, dead. So, gave up. Tried again the following day. Again with the British tanks. But I had been doing better with the FE4202, and I've been playing reasonably well in it recently since I got it. So I said, yeah, it's top tier. It's going to be always top tier. We'll go with that one. Then I had a battle on Insk. Well, what's wrong with Insk, says you? Insk is quite a good battlefield. I do reasonably well on Insk these days. Well, this happened. Just around this corner is the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, and made me despair of ever winning this game. The famous Waffle Dragon, the Waffenträger Panzer E100, with its 6-shot clip in an autoloader. There is no getting away from that. So what does one do when one has tried everything and nothing seems to be working? When all your favourite tanks in a particular nation have failed to deliver, you go and you decide to get serious. And getting serious means you take a Churchill 3, you load it up with premium ammunition, you put your best Russian crew on it, you put food on instead of fire extinguishers because it's a Churchill 3 and it's Russian, who cares about fires? Russians famously continue to fight even with their tanks on fire. And you get results like this. You get a win. You get another win. You get a third win. You get a couple of losses, but they're all top 5. And then we had a battle in Karelia, which I'm going to show you because it's Karelia, and it was probably the most expensive victory I have ever gotten in World of Tanks. Because when you fire premium ammunition out of a Churchill 3 with great abandon to gain maximum effect, and you're not a terribly good shot as I am, well, you are going to bleed silver. On the other hand, it's good fun. So here we are, Churchill 3 on Karelia. It was early in the day, so there wasn't a lot of hammers out yet. I think by evening the place was just walking in hammers. As you saw from that picture there, when I finally got my hammer and arrived into a battle with like 6 hammers on each side. So we're going down the long valley in Karelia. It'll take a while for us to catch up with everybody else because we're in a Churchill, and even stuff like KV-1s can race past us into the distance. Well, I've already mentioned this battle was a victory, so there's no point in being coy about the results. So this victory was followed by a couple more losses. We lost in Scorpion Pass. We lost again in Mountain Pass. That was the one where the Hummel wiped me out. Then we had a victory in Lakeville, and then we got our hammer. So we've come around the corner, we can see enemy tanks, and we're not going to hang around. We're going to drive down, because it's just an Excelsior shooting at us. He won't pen the front of the Churchill with regular ammunition. Not that we're pinning the front of him at this range with APCR. Or whatever it is the premium ammunition on the Churchill is. I'm not sure if it's APCR or not. So we're going to drive right up to the corner because we want to get close, we want to use the DPM of our gun, and we want to be able to shoot things all the time if we can. So the first order of business is get rid of that tank destroyer. Then try and find out the guy in the bushes probably who's actually taking hit points off of us. We'll have a look around, see is there any other easy targets. And the guy in the bushes is revealed, so we'll shoot at him now that we know where he is. Because even if he disappears, unless he moves, he's going to die. We just keep firing. And eventually he does die, although we didn't get the kill shot. Now we've no clear targets at the corner, so it's time to push up a little further. We can comfortably put rounds to the front of the Excelsior most of the time. It's not a guaranteed penetration, but it's going to happen often enough to make life very uncomfortable for the other tank. Of course, if he loaded premium, he could do the same thing to us, and we've got a lot less hit points. Fortunately, he doesn't seem to know this. Although we've probably got the higher rate of fire. Now, we can shoot through these rocks, at least in places. It's difficult to know where we're successfully shooting through the rocks and where we're just failing to get through. Because we're fighting against Churchills and Excelsiors and fairly heavily armoured vehicles, we're not guaranteed penetrations anyway. That tank destroyer seems to be hiding very carefully behind a rock. And we're not getting any kind of clean target on him, so we'll push up a bit further, see if we can get anything. There's probably vehicles between me and him as well. This is why I'm only getting the flicker of an outline as I move the camera around. Might just get a hatch shot there. We hit him and he backs around the corner again. So we're going to ignore him for the moment and hope that he stays behind that rock, and we'll finish off these guys here. So there goes the Excelsior. The KV-1's come around with me, and we finish up the other guy, and the tank destroyer's been wiped out. So it's all over bar the shouting. So like I previously said, 3 matches after this we had secured the Hammer. What do I think of it? Well, it's a nice tank. I haven't played Germans to any great extent. So the Tiger is a completely new experience for me. The armour is pretty soft. The gun, on the other hand, is really good. Very high rate of fire. Haven't played too many games in it, but it seems to be pretty accurate. Very good penetration. Mobility isn't too bad. It's not as good apparently as the regular fully upgraded Tiger. But when you're used to driving Russian heavies, particularly the KV series and British heavies, it doesn't seem that bad. This game is pretty much secure, as you can see. It's just a question of mopping up the remaining enemy team. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with the Hammer. It's a good silver earner, and it will enable me to train up German crews without actually having to play the German line much, because I periodically break out my premium tanks to build up stocks of silver while I play high tier tanks that I don't make money on, like the tier 9s and tier 10s. I can probably make money on some tier 9s in this stage, but not reliably. And I've really ran down my silver. Like I said, this whole Hammer 5 operation cost me somewhere in the order of 2.5 million to 3 million silver just to acquire the premium tank. Spent basically on premium consumables, mostly ammunition for the Churchill 3. I did start out, I suppose, the whole Hammer series with about 6 million silver or thereabouts, but in the meanwhile, like, I bought and equipped the Challenger, and I think I changed equipment on some other tank. Oh yeah, I acquired the FE4202 as well and equipped it. So my silver stock has completely run down. I had about 1 million silver when I initially got the Hammer. I have been doing some playing since then on my premiums, and I've brought it back up to maybe 1.5 million. So I think for the next couple of weeks I'll probably be focusing on premium play in order to get back up to 10 million silver. It's nice to have the buffer. Gives you the option of buying a top tier tank if you need it. And I'll try and finish out the British Tech 3. So it's just the AT2 left. I don't think it would reach him in time to get the kill in, but we have 4 kills, 22 damage ribbons, which is quite respectable for a Churchill. And it's game over and we win. But like I said, this was typical of the battles that I had in the Churchill, seeking the Hammer 5. But the expenditure silver was exceptional. I think the amount of ammunition I used was exceptional as well. So 107,218 lost silver, and that's without my tank being destroyed. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please consider pressing the like button, and please consider subscribing. Thank you, and I will be back again shortly with more videos.